you guys are looking at the front frame area. And you can see there's a hole. These are the 3 bolts for your steering box, which the previous owner said she had out, and she said she fixed something. I don't know, there is a spacer in there. I dropped the sway bar link down. One of the bolts broke off, which is odd because there's no rust, but there's still a nub sticking out, so I'll weld the nut on there. Show you how to get that out. This is a big crack. Someone did previously, there's some welds here. Looks like it was cracked, somebody welded it. Didn't do a good enough job. We lost a chunk right there. So my plan is I've got some steel. I'll tell you how thick it is. We're gonna get this bolt out of here, get these 2 out of here, and we'll weld a plate on the bottom side, and then we'll weld a plate up on this side, sandwich it together, weld the corner together, and that should really do it. So I'm gonna clean all this up and just get my metal out and start prepping for, well, so I'm working with some of these Shiner Bock beers today. Buddy of mine, Isaac, dude from Texas, brought them. Said there's some specialty Texas beer. I mean, I'm more of a natty light, natty ice guy, but we'll see if these get the job done. Nah, you think the Ryobi's gonna do it? Yup, the 5-year-old Ryobi. Actually, yeah, this one's probably 5 years old. Spoke too soon. I think it'll do it. I've been thinking about switching over to Milwaukee. You know, my thing is Milwaukee's expensive. I've had the Ryobi for years. That's just what I got started with. And now it's always difficult to switch. So the only time this thing doesn't really work is if I'm in the junkyard trying to get suspension bolts off, or like differential yoke nuts. Those are the only thing this thing hasn't been able to do. When you're at home, I mean, I can lift the thing up and down. I got pry bar, crowbar, or extension, cheater bars. I don't need to be able to totally do it with this, and I've got air tools. But it'd be nice to have the Milwaukee for like taking off lug nuts in the junkyard, or ripping out suspension bolts, for grabbing like lift kits, that kind of stuff. You guys think it's worth it? The Milwaukee crap, like $350 for an impact over the one I've already got that hasn't broken yet? You let me know. Let's see if I can do this. Yep, and none of the lug nuts are stripped, so that's a win. Let's see. Brakes actually look real good. Plenty of meat left. And this looks like some like fresh new rust. So I kind of think these are probably brand new. Oh man, the pads have tons of life left on them too. The front axle, the U-joints on the axle shaft, those are fine. There's no play in here. Here's a closer look on our hole we're working with here. I'm gonna clean off the grease from this as best I can.
This is terrible.
It's not working, so we're gonna need a bunch of brake clean. I was out of brake clean, so I used engine degreaser. Didn't really work that well. Probably gonna have to use acetone. And a grinder with the flap disc is really what's gonna do most of the work here. There's just a bunch of undercoating or rubber something that I gotta scrape off. And I gotta get this steering box bolt out of my way. So I've got the other 2 that I'm gonna leave in, and that should hold. It shouldn't move itself out of position, really, is what I'm trying to say. Now I can get in here and start removing this crap. see that undercoating, man, that's some tough stuff. But basically what I'm trying to do, it's hard to tell on camera, but this crack continues up here. I need to find the end of it, drill it out, and then weld everything up. If you just weld it and leave the end of the crack open, it's a lot more likely to keep cracking even after you weld it. So let's keep scraping. So I'm grinding off the previous welds, and this is why. I just ground it off and then it fell right off. A lot better if it would focus. That weld right there, it used to be a booger weld like this. There was one up here and it just fell off. So they didn't make contact on both sides. They didn't Dremel or grind the crack out at all, and they didn't get good penetration on that. So I'm not sure what they were using. Most likely it was just too cold, and I didn't have enough amperage or power to burn through the metal. So I got to get it all off. So I don't want to be welding on top of their old welds, and then I will, you know, drill this thing out, grind the crack out a little bit to make like a beveled edge to weld in. Now we'll Dremel out the crack. Let me get earphone off the tripod for a pinch. Clean everything out. The Dremel didn't work so hot. This, I just tipped the angle grinder on its side and I was able to cut a good groove. That's where the crack stops. These holes, I don't know what I'm gonna do with those, but I've ground out the rest of it, and there was some extensive stuff on the bottom side that actually had been welded over pretty well. I just could see it when I was grinding through. So let's get the welder. I've hit it with acetone. We'll just weld these cracks up and then we'll start fitting. As you can probably see, those tiny holes, I did drill them out at the end, so the cracks shouldn't go. I probably could have gone a little bigger, but they are chamfered, I guess would be the word. I'm rocking the old Hobart Manhandler 140. The settings on this guy, I'm using our 40 wire speed and 3 for the voltage. We'll see how it goes. I did remember to grind off a spot for my ground prior to trying to weld. First time ever for me.